All right, so there are 5 really good reasons not to buy Chick Fil A franchise, even though you can only get one for $10,000. Well, hold on. Can you? Is that how it really works? Chick Fil A is a massively successful company with a cult-like following that raked in around $5.8 billion in revenue in 2021, which was a 33% increase in revenue from 2020. It would make sense to invest and jump in on the Chick Fil A franchising opportunity, right? Well, standalone Chick Fil A stores made upwards, top performing store made $17 million in 2021. And with an enticingly low franchise fee of only $10,000, many have wondered if the Chick Fil A franchise ownership route is the best way to go. Well, I've personally talked to a Chick Fil A owner that makes over $300,000 a year, so there's definitely some money in it. An interesting thing for you to know is that Chick Fil A has the highest average store sales out of all fast food restaurants, even beating out McDonald's and Shake Shack. And get this, the average non-mall Chick Fil A does about $7 million in sales. That's the average. But the thing is, we don't see any celebrity endorsements or brokers or single investors or really anyone building their franchise empires with Chick Fil A. So we have to wonder, is franchising with Chick Fil A really all that it seems? So there is a big myth out there about Chick Fil A franchise owners. Technically, they really aren't owners. You don't own anything. I'll explain more about that in just a minute. But what if I told you that Chick Fil A should actually be the last place you should franchise with? You know, the road to franchise ownership with Chick Fil A takes a lot of time, a lot of hard work, and even then, your chances of getting one are very slim. But before we jump into that, let's talk more about some of the things that Chick Fil A is doing right. So Chick Fil A is an Atlanta-based company that first opened its doors in 1967. They've been expanding ever since. They're in 47 states with over 2,800 locations as of July 2022, and all of which are closed on Sundays. I don't know about you, but I seem to always want Chick Fil A on Sundays. Now, you might think that this would hurt their business in the long run, having one less day to sell food, but Chick Fil A still has the overall highest total average revenues compared to other fast food chains. They brought in $5.8 billion in 2021. Just to put this in perspective, last year, Subway made a total of $1.3 billion in revenue, and Wendy's also brought in $1.3 billion in revenue. So, also, Chick Fil A has a much higher retention rate for their employees and has very little turnover. I mean, most store owners will stay on with the company for 20 plus years. And then amongst the ground level employees, they reported that 37% of employees would not leave Chick Fil A even if they were offered more money. And 59% of the employees said that they are excited to go to work every day. I think what no one will argue with is that it's really hard to come by good talent. And Chick Fil A certainly knows what it takes to train and keep good employees on with the companies. I mean, everyone knows about the whole my pleasure thing with Chick Fil A. So with low turnover rates, high revenue earnings, and Sundays off guaranteed, it seems like Chick Fil A would be the perfect opportunity for you to own a franchise. Now, despite this, we still don't see people turning to Chick Fil A to grow their franchise empires. Why is that? There are actually 5 good reasons why you should stay away from Chick Fil A franchising and go with maybe another option instead. So number 1 is that you don't own anything or actually build any equity. One of the biggest setbacks to Chick Fil A franchising is that even though they could call their locations franchises, they really technically aren't franchises in the sense that in a typical franchise arrangement, usually you have your store, a few stores that you own. You physically own it. And after you spent years working hard to build your business, successful franchises can make up to millions of dollars in revenue. So that way, when it comes time to retire, and you want to be able to pass that on to your family or even sell it. With Chick Fil A, you are technically not an owner, and you don't build any equity with the company. Therefore, when it comes time for retirement, you have nothing to sell. The ownership of the location, of the operations, is still held by the corporation, and with no equity stake in the business, are you really actually an owner? Chick Fil A even refers to the owner position as store operators on their website. The company has received a lot of backlash for stating that Chick Fil A owners are not actually owners, but really actually employees. All right, number 2, you aren't allowed to own multiple locations. Owners of Chick Fil A franchises are not allowed to own multiple units or even other businesses. This is a major downside for the franchise owner, but a big plus for Chick Fil A. Part of their success is that the store owners focus only on their one store without focusing on any other businesses or any other locations. Now, there are a few Chick Fil A owners out there who own up to 2 to 3 stores. However, this is only possible if you have been a franchise owner with the company for at least 10 years. And your store has had to consistently perform in the top 30% nationwide. All right, number 3 is that you need to run the store. So when you become a Chick Fil A franchise owner, the store quite literally becomes your life. You must be at the store running it every day it's open, which can include typical managerial duties, customer escalations, and even jumping in on the food line during peak hours when it's really busy. Now, with the typical franchise, one of the benefits of investing in one is that you get the freedom to continue your career or travel and essentially do what you want, all while having a passive income. Chick Fil A owners, however, are expected to be there every day, right there with their employees, working alongside them. Number 4 is low earnings. Now, most franchises are actually quite secretive about just how much their franchise owners are actually making in terms of take-home income. And after a little digging and hearing testimonials from owners that are currently with Chick Fil A, the general consensus is that owners typically make anywhere between 5 to 7% of the gross sales. So, as an example, on average, most Chick Fil A stores made around $4 million in sales, while standalone locations, not in a mall or on a college campus, make $7 million on average, with the highest location doing $17 million on sales. So that means that the average store owner really could make anywhere between $200,000 and $350,000 a year on average. That's a pretty great salary, but with one lucky person potentially making $800,000 a year just running a Chick Fil A. Now, it's not a bad salary for an operator position, although you don't own anything and you can't sell your franchise when you're ready to retire. Get this, you can't even pass it on to your spouse or your family when you die. Number 5, your odds of owning a Chick Fil A are very, very slim. The process of actually getting a Chick Fil A store is very tedious and can take years if you were even selected to get one. Although you are not required to have worked at a Chick Fil A store before owning one, it does help your chances of knowing the ins and outs of the company, especially through the interview process. The interview process is typically 4 to 5 interviews with high-level executives that could take place online or in person. And from the 20 to 50,000 applications they receive a year, only about 100 are selected through the process. That's less than 1% that actually make it through the process and get approved to open a location. Now, if you are selected, the next step is to travel around the country, opening new Chick Fil A stores whenever the company sends you out. So this step is a minimum of 2 years, after which you could be placed at a store permanently. However, if there aren't any stores available for you to own, you just continue opening Chick Fil A stores until there is one available. And then when one does become available, you must be willing to move, and you got to move to the location that Chick Fil A sends you to. So if you aren't ready to move your family to this new location, it could be a few years before you receive a location. And so the bottom line is this: even if you're a hard worker and you uphold all of their traditional Christian values and even abide by their corporate prayer policy, your chances of ever opening your own store are really minimal. On the bright side, Chick Fil A is not struggling, obviously, and it seems like Chick Fil A values their employees as much as their customers, and they reward hardworking individuals with competitive pay, and they have a solid business plan that allows them to retain top talent. Now, on the other hand, this could also be viewed as a large company take advantage of hardworking people and not allowing them to expand or build any equity within the company. I think you could look at it both ways, and so I'm curious to what you think about this. What do you think about the way that Chick Fil A operates their business and their business model? Do you think that they should be doing it differently? Do you think that what they're doing is working? Let me know in the comments below. While you're down there, don't forget to like this video. It helps the YouTube algorithm show this video to more and more people. And if you've thought about owning a franchise, then go ahead and click the link below. I have some great resources for you. You got a free masterclass and a free guide called my 0 to Profitable Franchise Guide. You can go ahead and check it out, and I'll look forward to seeing you on the next one.